Welcome to another episode of Angels, Positivity and Love. Incredible guests the world over with amazing insights. They've usually been on some sort of transformative journey themselves on their unique life path, and they've often decided to give service to others. Today, no exception. Coming to us from Hawaii, super excited about this. Jacob Nelson. He was in Tokyo, but now it's Hawaii. Aloha.
Yes.
Jacob,
Aloha.
welcome to the show.
It's a pleasure. Thank you so much for taking the time.
It's good to see you again. And we were just having, 5 minutes of fun before the show. It already feels amazing. So thank you for being here.
Yeah,
Um,
thank you.
hey, I'm going to just cover, you've got a pretty wide background. You're super intuitive. You're able to close your eyes and get basically visions. You've had an amazing
Yes.
sequence of
Yes.
dream time experiences that resulted in a big book. But let me get back to your practical and tactical societal background. You're a writer, digital designer, developer. Ultradeep.blue is your website. You're also an award-winning marketer. You've done some recording as an artist. And lastly, we could say mystic. You've got intuitive talents off the charts. If there were keywords that this is all about, unconditional love, compassion, trust, faith, forgiveness, and that you're all about spreading love around.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and then
Absolutely.
all the answers are within. So all you have to do is
Yes.
slow your roll a little bit, and the universe will do the rest to meet you. Last bit, your book is named Dialogues and Dreams and the Spectrum of Consciousness. I think it just came out like middle of this year. It's available on Amazon. People can find it in the fine print of the show. So where would you want to start? You want to tell us just a little bit about Hawaii first. You've only been there now, what, a month? Is that about right?
Yeah, about a month and a half. And the wonderful part about my journey is that, everything unfolds in its own way, in its own time. And Hawaii is no exception. Hawaii was in the book. This book I have right here. This you know it's like my future is in it. It's already written, just like reality itself. It's already there. The future, the past, it's all in that one point. We can just access it at any time we want in different ways. We can see different perspectives of it, right? So there's things in here that I might not even realize what they are until I experience them later on. So Hawaii was in the book, and it said I had to go, and I didn't question it. In the beginning of the book, I would have questioned everything. I was very scientific, and had a really rational mindset, which is good to have. It's part of the ego. However, I relied on that too heavily. And towards the end of the book, I realized, you know what, you have to surrender. You have to surrender to life, to reality, and then your path, your purpose will be revealed to you. And it was go to Hawaii, and I said, okay. I had complete faith that things will work out, and it's working out.
Mhm.
So yeah, I'm here and I'm happy. I love it. It's just a beautiful, magical place.
And in a moment, tell us how long you've been in. You were in Tokyo previously. I'm just going to mention your education. I don't normally have to do that on the show. Some people have really long education experiences, but I do in your case because it was University of Washington. You have an MS in information management and a BA in the Japanese language and literature. So you were
Yeah.
putting that to good use in Japan. How long were you in Japan for?
Yeah, I was in Japan for a decade and I worked in the corporate sector for a long time. And like many other people on their journey, they're kind of straddling two different worlds, right? They're working in the corporate world, and then at the same time they feel like something is missing. And that missing piece for me was the book. I had something, I knew I had to write or do something great. I didn't know what that was. I had something important I had to share. And um, over the years, since for the past 20 years, I was recording my dreams, and I didn't think much of them. I just thought, yes, I knew I needed to write them, but I didn't realize how important they were. And it wasn't until towards the climax, I would say actually the start of my real journey, right? It's like you think it's the end. It's like actually that was just like the starting place, when everything revealed itself to me. And so I realized I need to leave the corporate world. I need to kind of write this book. And then out of the blue, I was like, nope, it has to happen. It just felt like the right time. I said, nope, I'm done with, the materialistic world, the corporate world. I need to focus on what I know is important, and I need to get all the information out of me. And I wrote the book, and it's funny, like I had thousands of experiences written down, and it all started in this book. This is my black book.
Mm.
And as you can see here, it says Jacob Nelson, History of Dreams, right here. Um, and it started there, and I said, I need to get everything. I need to organize it all. I need to get it all done, and I need to do it immediately. And it's funny, I was like, well, the only way I'm going to be able to actually get it all together in time is if I'm able to manage the information. And what's my master's degree in information management? I was like, are you kidding me? This is like, oh my God, I get it. It's like they were preparing me to say, hey, you're going to have thousands of experiences. And the only way you're going to be able to actually get it done and, on in time, don't take years to write it, but do it, effectively, efficiently within a short period of time is if you can manage the information. And I did. And within about a span of a month and a half, I wrote the whole book. It was amazing.
Hmm. And you
Yeah.
had lucid dreams. So you were like, this would be like concurrent past lives, experiences from the future, very, very direct, very real feeling experiences. And that's the case, yes?
Yeah, and I would love to delve more into dreams. I think dreams are not talked about enough in our society. And to kind of encapsulate in a nutshell is that, you know, everything everything is consciousness, and everything you experience is within consciousness. And dreams are no exception. Well, what are dreams? It's when your fractal, you are a soul. You don't have a soul. You are a soul, and that fractal piece of your soul that's in this shell of a body, when you go to sleep, it detaches. It detaches. Your vibration increases and you detach. And when you detach, you experience other adventures within consciousness. And that usually means, since you're not detached to something that's physical, you are you're in a less physical state, a higher vibrational state. Therefore, you're able to connect with other realms, such as astral realms and mental realms. And also within those realms, you have shells as well, because a shell is a perspective, a filter of consciousness. So so if you're in a dream, you see other dream characters, which I thought they were, but they're actually other souls that have a mental shell or a astral shell and so forth. Yes.
Okay. Tell us or share with us a really good one where it just, I mean, this is going to sound cheesy in a way, but it warms your heart. It was a positive experience, or beautiful in some way. Is there one of those that you could share?
I have thousands, but I'll just give you one that's recent. I'll give you two quick ones, and one is, I would say, is really lovely, and the other one is just really interesting. So I'll start with a beautiful one. This happened 2 days ago. Like I have these experiences daily. Every day, almost every day, past 20 years, I've been getting a very deep dialogue with other beings and explorations of other realms. Um, and this one was, I didn't even know where I was at first, but I found out I was on future Earth.
Mm.
And use the word future loosely here, because the future Earth already exists. It's already there. You can access it. And so I was in a place I've been before, sort of this mental realm and astral, sort of I would say it's mental realm, not an astral, because mental realm is you have more of your natural abilities than the astral. And I floated up to this vendor. There was this really tall people, and I was floating up to this vendor, and I was telling him, I was like, "Aren't you surprised? Like I'm able to kind of float up like this?" Because they didn't seem surprised, because everybody was just walking around. They weren't floating around. I was like isn't this kind of different? And they said, and somebody behind me says, not at all. And I said, oh, why is that? He's like, because you just raised your vibration, didn't you? I was like, oh, you're right. He goes, yeah, that's pretty common. It's nothing new. I'm like, oh my God. So yeah, they chose to walk, but if you wanted to, you could just raise your vibration, you could float, you could do what you want. Like, and then right after that, since I raised my vibration, new beings, some were disappearing in front of me, and new beings were appearing. It was like, so as you raise your vibration, your frequency increases, and the bands of frequencies that you're in will change too. So the dimensional space will change. So your environment will change according to your frequency. And so I was talking to this Asian lady, and something I used to do, I still do sometimes now for different reasons, is that I love to ask dates, because I like to understand how people interpret dates. And I do that because if you ask somebody, a other being, a date, depending on what they give you, it'll tell you the type of dimensional space you're in. So the more concrete space you're in, the more physical space, they'll give you concrete dates, right? If it's less physical, more astral and mental, they get really confused because they're in a place where time is not really it exists, but it's not like how it exists here. It's sort of just a state of being. And so rather than having A, B, C, and D over here, there it's like it's just A, or maybe it's A and B, you know. Um, and so I asked her, and she goes, she kind of gave me this look like that was really silly. Like, why would you ask that? That's a silly question, almost like an ancient question to ask. And she said, well, it's all zeros. I said, oh, it's like, oh, I know where I am now. I was like, and I was like, so what is this place? She's like, Earth. I said, what? I was like, what? Earth. Um, and I was like, oh, right, this must be future Earth. And so we got along, and then I told her, I said, just to let you know, it's probably my mental realm self on future Earth channeling a different self, a different part of myself. And this self is called Jacob. I said, my name is Jacob Nelson. I explained to her, and she got really interested. Like, oh my God, so interesting. You're channeling a different part from a different place. And she goes, can I be your assistant? I said, I would love that. She was really interested. And then we hugged each other and we went into this sort of soul merge. And I've experienced this before. It's almost like a soul hug. And when you merge your vibration, you kind of almost like a dance, and you're kind of dancing together, and you merge together, and you become whole. But so it's like a non-dual soul. It's like a merged soul. It's like you're one, but also separate. So yeah, it's like two, almost like think of it like your higher self, multiple perspectives, but one being. And we were kind of having that experience where we had two perspectives of something, but yet one. And then we started as we did that, we merged, and then everything changed. It was like a diamond, like beautiful gem-like bridges, and it's just like, oh my, the city's amazing. And then as we were floating above it and we started singing naturally, and I realized, oh yeah, I've done this before as well in other dreams, where just somehow you have this urge to want to sing and your voice is angelic. It's like you're shocked when you first sing, you're like, oh, I didn't know I had that voice. Like, wow, this is amazing. I sing like an angel. And then, but also you have this free will too. It's like, so you can make mistakes, but it's only if you get caught up and have that self-awareness. If you have that self ego, the ego gets involved, it's like it's breaking, the natural chain of being. And so I had to go, oh yeah, surrender, surrender, because if you don't surrender, you'll start thinking, oh, what song should I sing, or how am I singing? Do I really have this voice? You get all fearful and concerned. But the more you just surrender to what's happening, it's like it just flows, and you're both. And then, and not only you, but like you're manifesting like choirs behind you and this orchestra. It's magical. Yes. But the other, so that's the beautiful one, but the interesting one, it's in the second book. I haven't written and fleshed it all yet, but I'll give you a sneak peek. This is my little sticky note right here. So if you see that there, it says they speak Quibbit. And I've encountered other aliens before, but this one I've never even heard about. There's so many different beings out there. And in the beginning, they didn't show themselves to me. And I think it's probably for the better because I would have been too shocked and I probably would just been like, wow, that's just unsightly. I just not sure how to compute that. Um, and so they showed themselves as humans, but what they were teaching me was very different. So this is how, and so I first learned about I first got a vision about their written language in a different incarnation of it wasn't Jacob, it was a different incarnation. And I was in the military, and I was in my hotel room, and I looked on the side desk, and I saw a lamp, and then I saw some paperwork. And I went over to the paperwork and I looked at it. And I was like, oh, yeah, it's some kind of documentation. It's some kind of contract or something. I wasn't sure. And so I looked at the very bottom and I said, whoa, that's weird. It was like alien writing. I was like, I don't, that has to be alien or something. That is really weird. It was so interesting. It's like basically a lot of different lines going together, but like it seemed like there's like little blocks of lines. So it's like you could tell like, oh, this is a glyph or a block of lines, but it's just lines, like either like horizontal, vertical, in different ways. And it almost looked like different structures, like different lines of structures and different glyphs. I was like, that just looks very alien. And at least that was the information that I got when I was looking at it. And so a few days ago, so it was same time I got that the vision I just told you about. Right before that vision is when I was speaking with these beings, and we were talking, and I was speaking with them, and I recognized the writing. Oh, that's the writing I saw from before, and I said, oh, so you can write that, and I was talking to them, and I I was starting to ask questions like, okay, perfect time to kind of dig into this and see, what you are, or what this writing is, and they were saying, they said, yes, I said, how does your, I said, what do you call that language? They said, they were trying to say it at first, and then they showed me their mouth, and they're like trying to form it with their mouth, and I said, I'm not sure, and then because I wasn't getting it, they allowed me to actually audibly hear it,
Mm,
but only for a short period of time. And it was really hard to listen to because it was so, first of all, it was so loud. It sounded like the biggest blaring horn you've ever heard in your life, but it sounded like half mechanical, half like natural animal, almost as if almost like a mechanical elephant that was the size of a building. It was just so loud. And it was like if you heard it for too long, you just eardrums would pop. And so they did it in short bursts because it was just too much for me to handle. And they said it was like Corvette, Corvette, Corvette. It was like almost like a horn slash you could hear it there. And they were saying, and I was like, and they were saying, oh, it's Quibbit. But it did, but Quibbit's how we would say it, but it was like it did that kind of notes. And I was like, oh wow. And so I realized, okay, it's something like Quibbit, how we would say Quibbit. Like that sort of dun 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 dun. Um, and then I said, can you explain to me how this language works? And they said, sure. And so this was also so fascinating. So they said their language works they speak structure. And I guess they're more, I'd say logical, more linear. I say they're builders. They love to build different structures and societies in their society. So each line, and they had a blueprint. So if you see one of the glyphs, they show me these rows of glyphs. I'm not sure how many rows they had, but for one of the glyphs, let's say for example, you had one. They had one, then they had two, then you had all these different combinations, and they showed me a blueprint map of their city and all these different structures, and they had lines going to each of the glyphs. And showing how some of these structures have multiple glyphs, some are just going to one glyph. If this structure was really complex, maybe it involved 10 or 50 or 100 glyphs. So basically, how they speak, it's like they speak like a blueprint language. They speak structure, and somehow there's so many of these glyphs that they're able to actually say anything they want because it's all based on these different structures and combinations. And then after I was like, oh, that's fascinating. And then he or she, whatever it was, it left out of my vision. But this was interesting. So as it left, it started to show itself. And I was thinking, well, why would I be able to see its true self? And I realized, that's right. We co-create reality. When we are merging, or when we're trying to communicate, we are trying to share something that's a common ground. We're trying to, understand each other. So we're sharing information that we can understand. But it's not necessary when that person's, that being is over there, because it's not really merging with you at that point. It's not communicating with you. So it's able to so you interpret something from your side, but it's not also doing the same thing and giving you information back to you. So I saw, in a sense, half of
mm,
what it was. So I saw what it looked like. I didn't see the texture. I didn't see, so basically it looked like it was wearing the same clothes and all the same sort of, externally, visually, like what it was wearing was the human garments, but the shape I saw exactly, and I saw that's all the shape itself. So almost like think of it like if it was camouflaged, right? Um, and also I saw how it morphed as well because it was human, but then its arms morphed into and its legs turned into one piece, and its head moved down into its groin. Its groin and its head were in the same spot. And so if I like this, it looked and it was huge. It was like speaking to this being, it was like, first it was like a human size, average size person. And then as it moved away, it got really big and it was between 9 and 12 feet tall. And its legs, so basically just like two big, huge legs with this head that was in between, sunken down in between, and it was hanging towards the back because like at one point it turned and I realized, oh yeah, it's sort of in the back. And also I realized it was like the groin and the head were in the same spot. Um, and it had almost like elephant trunk type legs. And they were huge. So they're really big beings. That's also at that time. So when they came back, um, I was just so curious. I was like, and I remember like I was scratching my head and I was like going like this, like what's going on? And this other at the time it was, since they were in my vicinity, they were morphed back into human state shape again. And as I was like going like it was a female because I could see it was a human female. So I guess it was more that was you call a female in their culture or their species. And and she turned to me and said, "Ew, what are you doing? Like, like, were you doing that in front of me?" And I was thinking, "What are you talking about?" And then it wasn't only until after I woke up, I go, "Oh, that's right. They're grinding their head in the same spot. So if I'm doing this, she thinks I'm doing something else." Oh, I was like, "Oh, that's so interesting." Then I go, "Wait, if then that's true, oh my God, I was one of those beings." Because if I was doing this, that must have only meant I was also well, I'm thinking like, well, maybe an other part of myself is also one of those beings.
Mm,
So we think, oh yeah, we only have other selves or humans. Not the case.
mm.
Your soul can be any being, and I think we'll slowly start accessing our other selves that are aliens and other beings. And so yeah, that was an experience recently.
So galaxy's super big, a lot of different beings.
Yeah,
But let's talk about love for a second. Is love the
sure.
fabric of the universe?
Love is, so in the book I talk about it. So there's the void, and I have the structure of they show me the structure of reality in a vision at the climax of the book. And basically the way that I understood it was basically we are eternally pregnant with love. That's what reality is. It's eternally pregnant with love, with itself in a sense. But yet it's itself and not itself, right? It's dual and non-dual. And so the void is like this mother, this loving, eternally loving mother that's pregnant with love, and the love is the baby boy of creation that's always been there. It's like there's always been a pinhole, uh, and then once you realize there's a pinhole, you realize what's outside of it. Oh, that's the void. It's like the chicken and the egg happen at the same time. And so we are eternally pregnant with a baby boy, and that baby boy is creation. So that's, almost like Jesus, right? It's like the virgin birth. It's always been that way. So it's all love. We're eternally pregnant with love. And the baby boy sets out in these adventures of consciousness. Whereas the void is asleep, the baby boy is awake. And the baby boy ventures out into the backyard, thinks he's fighting demons and all these things. And the mother looks out from the window thinking, oh, he's fine. He's in his own thought. He's in his own dream. When he comes back in, he can have his lunch and I'll send him back out. But what the boy brings back from the backyard, from his adventures within consciousness of creation in that womb, is knowledge, is not just knowledge, but wisdom. Right, the highest form. It brings the mother, brings the void wisdom, brings God this wisdom. And the mother says, oh, lovingly, embraces this wisdom from its son, her son, and it kind of recycles itself that way. So there's this combination of this eternal love and the eternal quest of gathering this wisdom so that love could understand what it is. It's like for love to understand what it is, it has to have this eternal baby boy of creation that sets out on this quest to, for infinity to get this wisdom back to understand what love is. So love is all there is, but there is this component of it's gathering the wisdom to understand what love is at the same time. And it's a beautiful marriage. And it creates a knowing, this love and wisdom, and this creates this knowing. And that's very interesting because the left brain, it uses this linear thinking to get answers. It thinks I need an answer. I need an answer. Science says I need an answer, right? It asks questions to get answers. Whereas the right brain says you if you, well you'll be always be in search of answers if you go down that path. But actually, if you don't go in the thought path to peer, thinking with your ego mind, you think with your heart, the feeling, you realize feeling is infinite. And feeling is something that is a knowing. When you feel, you know, and that's the knowing. And so it's more about trying to, not think in any particular way, is trying to see that you're all of it. And when you're all of it, that's when the truth comes in. And that truth comes in the form of a feeling, which is a knowing, which is the marriage of love and wisdom.
Mm. Okay. Who has already been in the field of spirituality? We've got a lot of established authors, whether it's from the 1970s, there was Seth, Jane Roberts kind of kicked off the New Age thing, and Light Being, who doesn't like to do corporeal forms, probably the only one. And a little more complex than if you hear him directly, a little more clear. But there's Don Miguel Ruiz, there's Eckhart Tolle. Who out there that, I mean, there's 500 different experts or authors. Who have you enjoyed along the way that paved the way, prepped you, or allowed you to stay open enough to experience all this?
Nobody. So in the beginning of the book, I told myself, this is really special, and I don't want to read. So I never read anybody but with any divination, quantum mechanics, anything out there to get any information. Because I always thought, well, because I was very scientific, and I thought, well, if it's within my brain, then I don't want any external, confounding variable, external factors to influence it, because then I would not be able to know, is it, contaminated? Like, can I trust what I'm experiencing? Because maybe I read it somewhere, now it's getting in. So I didn't read anything, and I didn't really. It wasn't until after, towards the end of the book, when the book was finishing, that I really started to branch out and read a lot of, and look out there to see what was happening. Like, oh, wow, a lot of this stuff that people have been talking about. I was like, wow, this is amazing. That's when I go, oh yeah, I mean, that's just another, proof right there, for myself that, yeah, what happened is real, and this is what others experience. So unfortunately, I can't really tell you who. I mean, I know of names, but I didn't really look into any of their work
Right. What
until the.
categories of authors? Out of body experience, more galactic travel, lucid dream, consciousness.
Yeah, I didn't know. I looked sort of everywhere. I just like, if I saw a video or heard something, I'll look into it. I really liked. So I looked. No, I looked to the east with Sadhguru. I would listen to him a little bit. Of course, I would find things, maybe your work or Next Level Soul. And I would find. I think it started with, I was looking at NDs and as such, and I just started kind of going down the rabbit hole online, and realizing that they were all saying their own version of what I was saying, and so we all have our own version of that truth.
Beautiful.
Um, yeah.
Okay, this is that point of the show. I'm going to light some sage, and I'm going to remind folks you can enjoy a little no time, no space. It doesn't matter if you're watching this 2 to 10 years in the future, you're in Germany, you're in Tokyo, and there's two computer screens. Not really. You're going to see sage smoke, smell it.
Yep.
And this is, you don't have to do dream time, out of body travel, and the rest, although that's fun. This is more basic. Just leave your eyes on the sage, ask the universe to do its job. If you don't mind using angels as well, they're here to help, unconditional love beings. So setting your intent, my only rule or bit of structure here, besides maybe breathe a little up through the mouth and shoulders heave ho to turn up the volume. It's just, hey, angels, universe, get me out of my head into my heart. Help me smell some sage. If you're really good at this, you're going to start to smell it just right off the bat. I'm only doing flame right now. The first smoke is about to start happening. And if you want to go crazy, do a triple tier tiramisu, no calories. Sage first, then get some amazing flowers, and then catch ocean. Now, our lucky guest is already surrounded by Hawaiian Pacific Ocean. So maybe he can get something a little more exotic, that he knows he's getting something special.
Oh yeah, I'm getting orchids and dragonfly fruit.
And are you getting the sage too?
Yes. Oh yes, very nice. It's a very soothing, like a bark sage.
And I'll put up Min, my guardian angel, Dr. Karen Wyatt's guardian angel, if anyone wants to check out August 30th, 2024. She describes how at the foot of her bed, an angel was more like a Hallmark angel. This angel in all white showed up when she was 8, 9, or 10. And she knew from that moment on she wanted to be a doctor. And here she is interviewing in August 30th of 2024 as a retired physician. And she got to meet that angel for 30 minutes on a beach in California in human form. You have no limits. But the point of that was allow, ask, and receive. I think that's what you're basically saying to everybody is it's wide open and run with it. So let's have you go into that after one last experience. What's Min bringing to you that's the Hawaiian thing? Because she's been labeled Mother Hawaii by another would-be guest.
I'm getting a conch shell, getting a big shell.
Are you hearing a sound that goes with it?
Yeah, yeah.
I love it. And I'll do something. My microphone on in this studio is below my laptop, so it's going to look like I'm blowing down below. I'm going to blow. Let her bring you a Hawaiian something on the air on your face. You'll feel sea spritz on your nose. Just to show my microphone, there it was. I'm putting it below the laptop again. Catch a little sea spritz on the nose, and one
Yeah.
more time. Let it be good fortune, wind in the sails, and more.
Oh yeah.
And here, you can put your hand out to her photo and feel what you can feel. If you want to see flecks of white light with rainbow sparkles or Mediterranean shimmer, but we'll call it Hawaiian sparkle. And allow for what you can see. If it's your eyes closed at home, folks, see it on your eyelids shut. But if you do it that way, you can still open your eyes and see it around you. Call it a multidimensional CGI effect. And try not to attach
Yeah.
any importance to it.
Yeah, if you hold your hand out, I think for me, if you capture it with your eyes closed and you get that vision, and then you open your eyes and if you can maintain that state, you can get the same aura around your hand.
Ooh, can you get two compliments from her and a reminder for us all? Get two compliments because you've been doing a lot of journeying. And then one
Yes,
reminder for us all from her to you to us to keep in mind daily as we go through our lives.
yes. The heart of the ocean is the heart of you, and you must surrender to it.
Do you want to do just a couple more? I've got a Joy and a Charlotte. I'll put them up, and then maybe they can also give you, because you've got a lot of different topics you can cover, but maybe they
Hmm.
can mention one that you're just, you're primed and ready to do. Here's Joy, who's the emotion Joy. And feel, hear, or sense her in any way you wish. You're wide open, so I love doing this. Like chef's choice for you, chef's
Oh
choice
wow,
for her.
she's really quick and fun. She's fun.
And she's very
Well,
cosmic.
she just like flew down. She was very angelic when she came. Um, it was very she appeared very quick, just like ready to be there. Yeah. She was like,
Have
"Yeah,
her
I'm
take
here."
you
Like,
for a jog on the beach with
she was just there.
surfboards.
Yeah, she was ready.
If you want to close your eyes, have her take you to the beach, and there you are. Have a couple surfboards, and the next thing you know, you're hanging 10 with her side by side. Your boards won't bend.
I was falling and she picked me back up so that she I was getting to my fearful state and now, oh yeah, I'm back now, but yeah.
Oh,
She pulled me back to just get out of your head.
that's wild. And look, so I think I'm deciding because it doesn't matter what, I mean, this is a snap judgment, and judgment's as good as a penny on the ground. It can be fun though. I think you're super open, like at a ridiculous speed, like bam, done. Like that's it. And a lot of us have to work for at least 5 seconds, 10 seconds to get there. And you're
Yeah.
closing your eyes and it's like,
Yeah, it's there. It's immediate. I'm
oh,
because I've been doing so I've been doing this it's both, right? I mean, so the more you are working that visual cortex, the easier it is for spirit, your soul as it is, to send more energy through that filtered spot, the physical filtered spot. And it's like, it's hitting that physical filter, and if that filter is primed and ready, it can just send it right through.
mm,
Whereas you're trying rather than trying to degrease the filter so that the energy can get through more easily. So since I've had so many visions, and literally every day of my life I've been having long dialogues, and some of these dialogues, time is relative. However, I mean, you can see in a book that they're they can be anywhere from 5 to 20 page long dialogues, and not a single word is missed. That's amazing,
oh.
and not one word from everything, and not one thing is lost. And so I've had the experience to where I can just close my eyes and it's like boom, I'm somewhere else now. I'm there. I'm already there. I can see it.
Here's Charlotte in one iteration of her. She's an angel. She's everybody's teacher, favorite teacher from third grade, third form with words. or advice meant to help you
It's,
expand.
it's so
Wisdom.
funny. As soon as you said third grade teacher, I was in a classroom. I was, that's funny. Yeah.
And she might have been Nefertiti in ancient Egypt, bringing compassion to the Egyptians. So you can at least catch an ancient Egyptian
Yes,
incense smell.
yes, yes. She just brought me back to I was an Egyptian demigod, or you say god. Um, it's in the book as well, and she brought me just funny, brought me right back to an old classroom.
Oh, so again, let's go to a bigger topic where you're staying right where you are, but the awareness that's on the horizon for mankind. It just means more allowing, paying attention, and being more conscious of where you're putting your focus and more love, a little more ease and grace coming in for all of us. Higher vibration. How about that?
Absolutely.
But can you
Yes.
have her share a little that you'll share right with us?
Oh, yes, yes. She's saying that now is the time. If there ever was a time, it's now, and it's been planned, and you are ready, and you planned for this time. And we are all awakening to our true selves, and it's our duty to wake up the other children in the room. If you are now seeing others around you who are not as awakened or not vibrating at that high frequency, it is your job to inspire, to share with them the love so that they can see the truth from within themselves and they can awaken. The more we each awaken within our own selves, others around us awaken as well. Because it is not contained within us. We are all connected, and our vibration is transmuting everything around us, and it's spreading outside of us. So you think it's contained in your body, but it's not.
Mhm. And
And so,
so, yeah.
yes,
And so, like Joy coming in with Charlotte with Min, even if the details get a little gritty, like a price of an apple goes to $10, inflation, and there's this detail, that detail overseas, whatever. The bottom line is we're getting a lot of help with just relaxing, letting go, being more love, sharing more love, and allowing more. So we don't have to worry too much about the details. It doesn't mean don't do the job. It doesn't mean just sit still all day. But could you cover that? That we're getting a lot of universal love, light support.
we've been flooded with love for a long time, but more of it seems to be reaching us right now, and more of us are understanding that's what we need to embrace and spread in this world if we want everybody to reach this new frequency, moving to this new earth. And so we need to surrender to ourselves and to our heart and to our purpose and to our fellow man, if we want to speed this up.
And as Charlotte put it, it's nothing too drastic. It'll seem drastic, perhaps, if you're thinking a lot. She said it's just about 7% less thinking a day. Or flip that donut or flip the coin on the other side. That's 7% more heart daily. That's
Yes.
how she put it. She said it's a lot less than you think, but you do need to let go of the accelerator with your foot for a little bit. Breathe more, smile
Yes.
more,
Yes.
do something in nature.
Yeah, she says you can feel your heart. Your heart says you think you can't feel your heart, but you can feel your heart. And the more you focus on your heart, the more you will feel it, just as if it was your leg or your arm. You will feel
Ooh.
it.
Can do you mind if we do a quick? Just kind of came to me. Do you mind putting both your hands on your heart? And then as you, at some point, you pull back and allow the light, both your light, universal light, Joy, Charlotte, Min, plus throw in Archangel Michael and a couple more loving, fun figures. At some point, as you pull back, can you just see a little bit of light in your hands? And then if you don't mind allowing it to turn into sacred geometry, we're doing a reverse symbol. Usually I help somebody see a symbol and they bring it into their field. This is the opposite. It comes through you from your heart and turns into a symbol. Never done it that way before. Yeah, thank you. And what color is it?
It's a pink, purple, and white.
I love it. And if you want to throw any meaning to it that you want to share, sorry, I'm going to lose my English. Have Charlotte help out with anything that you need. But what's the significance, meaning? I've lost the details.
Yeah, the details are, well, the symbol is I just lost it. But it was morphing in front of me, and it was taking on, it was rearranging itself into many different symbols, and it was showing me the evolution or I want to say evolution, almost like the different perspectives of the ultimate symbol and how we are all symbols within this great symbol, and how I have a symbol and that symbol is integrated into all the other symbols. We all, like, our being is a sacred geometrical like symbol itself.
Mm,
And that is embedded into the great symbol. And
mm,
so nothing is lost, and we see these symbols and you think that you're not it, but she was showing me that, well, they were showing me that you are a symbol and you're in
mm.
this eternal symbol
And
as a symbol.
I'll remind folks there's zero to lose here. There's nothing to gain. You move past seeing the negative on this. It's not like you have to do anything. It's almost the opposite. It's slow down all the doing. Western society, the rat race up here, it's not external, even though it's easy to say it's external. It's just about pumping the brakes, breathing a little more, and you've had it in different parts of your life, or even during a day. Any given day, but you don't give it any importance. Like the light
That's
switch, shaving, shower, walking the dog, but where you're tuned out, your brain won't allow you
yeah,
to appreciate the micro moments. And you're
absolutely.
already there. No matter how complex or simple or out there or in there we sound today, it
Yeah.
is this simple.
It's
Whatever
that's
this
ex
means.
absolutely. And what I guess it was it Joy. Somebody was just showing me, and that was happening. It was Joy, and I think somebody else as well. I was getting a couple beings. I was getting a beach, and then maybe Charlotte. I mean, it was, yeah. I was on the ocean, and and then they were saying, as you were saying that, they were showing me about the surrender. They said, if you want to know how to surrender, literally go walk into the ocean and try to fight that wave. Go to a big wave, try to fight it. Run right into it and see if you can fight it. And then the next time, surrender to it and go with it. You'll realize it'll take you to where you need to go.
Mm,
Surrender to that wave. Don't so go with the flow of life and stop
mm.
trying to fight it. Don't surrender to it. And it's a very physical thing. If you go out into the ocean and you try to fight, those waves, it can be, you could easily get taken out. But if you just surrender to it and become part of the ocean, you'll be flowing with that wave.
I guarantee you there's some indigenous Hawaiian local way to say what you just said,
Right.
and that she could provide to us if we her by the way, her name is Min like Minnesota, Lakota Sioux word for water. Owala is a Polynesian morning glory. So sweet potatoes in the ground on that side of the vine, real morning glory flowers up top. But Ua and La, if I have it right, Ua is rain, La is sun, so it's rainbow. It's water rainbow, water morning glory for me.
Wow. Yeah. I just got another vision about they're showing me water in a rainforest running down trees, and they said that water doesn't just flows in the way it naturally flows down the tree. They're showing me how it's going on the contour of the tree bark. It says it may seem like it should just go straight down, but actually it's going on the contour because that is the most effective way to do it. And that is also a form of surrender and going what may not seem like it's the path is the path, and that when you're in a state of love, there are no mistakes in that contour. There's only a shortcut.
I'm going to read a statement. This is from an angel named Dale who coached an Olympic athlete in the late 70s, 80s, who won a lot of golds from with a Andromeda background, origin story. Not all angels will tell me their backgrounds, but and some are domestic. It doesn't matter. Oh, well, I better read it. Sometimes the person next to you or a stranger just needs validation via love and compassion. A smile changes any moment. So too does laughter or a few kind words. Be compassion to all. Do it. Jacob, what's your reaction to that?
That's exactly right. And that's also one of the five things that, in my book I emphasize the most. We need to have unconditional love, faith, compassion, trust, um, and compassion. All of these essential virtues. Compassion. All these virtues are saying the same thing. They're saying it's not you, meaning the ego you. It's us. It's us. It's a we. And the you and the we are combined. What you are is what we are. Whatever you become, we become. And so if you're compassionate, we become compassionate. If you have unconditional love in your heart, then then so does everything else. Because we think that it's only contained in your brain or inside of you, but it's not. It it's leaking out and it spreads as a vibration all around you. And not only this state, but in all incarnations, because remember, you're connected to your higher self, you know, and so your higher self is also learning uh, when you learn. And so when it decides to put its energy into another incarnation, you're feeding that incarnation as well, because it says, oh, I learned something and now I can use that to have another incarnation with that knowledge, with that wisdom.
The more
Um,
love you do, the more it flows through all the other dimensions or existence.
that's right. Exactly.
Okay, one more quick, maybe 5 sentences, angel language. The greatest gift is allowing. All is growth and change. This is frightening for some. There's nothing to do here. Slow down the doing. Instead, breathe, smile, and relax. Appreciate all. Compassion for all is life. This is also about acceptance for all. Regard others as yourself generously and without fixation. Believe in all. It is much simpler than people think. Again, this is because this is not about thinking, but less thinking.
Yes.
Open yourself
Exact.
up to life and speak with us, be. And it's from angels, so it's saying speak with angels anytime you want. And I'll put up all three if you could keep going where we left off.
Yes. Exactly. Ah, yes, they're showing me that the heart of being has no expectation of anything. There is absolutely no expectation to be had, because when you're being, there is no other, there's no B, there's no C. You are there. You're all. You're it. And that is when you're connected with all. And so when you can maintain that state, there is no fear. There is not, because there's nothing else to think besides where you are now. And what that is a state of love.
Mm-hmm.
You're in that perfect state of being, in a state, and the heart of being, and that heart, the state of being is the state of love, and nothing can go wrong. It's only once you start to think it can go wrong that it does go wrong. But that means the ego's getting in. It was like, just stay in the heart of being. And that does mean surrender. But when you stay in the heart of being, that's when you'll be easier to engage and, have faith and unconditional love, trust, and so forth, forgiveness. So yeah, stay in the heart of being.
Ooh. Okay, we're going to wrap this up, but can we go down to the treetop level for the folks who are living their daily lives? And we'll go the full spectrum. You could be an accountant receiving every award. You think you've hit the pinnacle of success, wife, kids, or husband and kids, and you're traveling and you got a budget for everything and you're fine. You might be realizing something's off a little bit or you're not doing enough self love, all the way to stuff's happening to me. My problem is, my situation is drama, rama, no drama, just drama. But so everyone's doing something. How in our daily lives can we really pump the brakes? How much time do you recommend? What are those steps that you recommend? Is it before you even get out of the shower you can do something? Is it a dog walk? Is it exercise? What are some of the basics you'd leave us with here?
Yeah, there's a lot of basics that I've learned. I learned it the hard way. Um, uh, so definitely when you wake up before you go to bed are great times. It's so before the bed, you're priming yourself for so when before you go to sleep, whatever's in your body as well, food too. So if you're eating a lot of sugar before you go to sleep, a lot of caffeine, whatever's in your body is also going to affect your sleep quality, but also it'll affect your dreams as well. Because depending on how detached you are, um, and if you become self-aware, that is, if you're in a dream, that will also affect your dream too. That's why you'll have nightmares if you have a lot of sugar before you go to sleep, and then you wake up in the dream. And so make sure that you don't eat right before you go to sleep. And if you do, just really make sure it's not, sugar and caffeine. I mean, if you have to have some protein, maybe that's okay, but try not to have too much food before you go to sleep. Also make sure you say your mantras or your prayers, your meditation, and set your intention on love and like I said, forgiveness, faith, and ask your higher self, ask your guides. I do that nightly. Ask my whole angelic team. Sometimes I list off each person in there if I know the name. I know my guide's name is Israel. But I mean, if you have the names, you can say that. But if not, you can just simply say higher self and in your guides, please, you know, take care of me while I sleep and give me any information that may benefit me moving forward. You know, help me learn my lessons I need to learn. Get me out of my head. Help me, stay in the heart of being. Help me resonate more with the heart. Help me have that mind and heart connection. Speak to them that way, and they will give you the answers. They will happily do it. But also understand that when they give you the answers, they're a great mentor, so they know not to give you everything at once. They'll give you everything you need, not what you want, because we get what we need, not what we want. So they'll give you what you need now, and if you keep doing it, they'll go, okay, he's ready, he or she is ready for the next little bit, and you'll keep getting more, and then it'll ramp up to the point where you're like, okay, now I'm getting the thing I wanted in the beginning, but you weren't ready for it. So
And that's so that you have your own, the most precious thing is your own experience, because then you're doing your own
yes,
learning and
yes,
expansion. So they do just
yes,
enough to keep the pot
yes.
boiling or the kettle boiling.
Exactly. Yeah, they keep
Okay.
increasing the temperature just a little bit. And also and in the morning, do the same thing too, because you're just coming out of that state and you have a different brainwave state, right? You're in that theta state, that dreamlike state. And that as when you wake up, you also realize, yeah, I'm in that sort of shower state where I don't have, I mean, some people just go right to their worries, but if you just don't think if you just stay in that state, don't have any particular thought, just stay there and breathe and meditate and go, I'm just going to stay in this foggy state. That's good. You'll realize, like in the shower, you'll be like, oh yeah, but always creative thoughts. That's right, because you're open now, and you're open. And so since you know you're open, start feeling that open void there, that with love and all the your all of the words of affirmation that you want to have in your life. And again, also contact your guides and your higher self as well. Those are two key things. Of course, exercise is important as well. It definitely helps to recycle and reach and transmute the energy within you.
Hmm. Gabriel said, like, this is like 6 years ago, but I'd never thought of it that way. Said exercise is a form of compassion. And I was like, wow. And then I want to
Yes.
mention like Zen. There are those Zen stories. You hear it all the time, but the one where there's a knock on the old man's door and the parents show up and they're like, here's your baby. Because I guess the daughter had ratted out the wrong would-be dad for the baby. And he takes the baby in, says, is that so? And treats the baby as his own. And then a year later, they come back and they're like, well, we found the real dad. We need the baby back. And he's like, is that so? Can you talk to us about how, yeah, it seems real. It is real. Whatever's happening to you, it could be death in a family, divorce, job layoff, you name it, health crisis after health crisis. But can you talk to us about how there's just something bigger going on?
Oh yes. And it's it's a beautiful thing too, because it's for most people, it isn't until they cross over that they realize it was just one big play.
Hmm.
We are we're 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 doing a big performance on a huge grand stage, and we each have a character to play. um and before we come here, we make our plans. We're saying, okay, and sometimes we don't even have to go back, but we do it because somebody else is going. Maybe somebody in our soul group is going back, or somebody we know and says, well, I have to do these lessons, it's going to be hard, and you would be the perfect person at this point in this milestone to kind of really get me into gear. I may not like it, but if anybody's going to push me off the cliff, I need it to be you. you know if anybody's going to do the dirty work, I want you to do it because I love you so much. So we all figure out, we all work together, and sometimes we choose for others. Sometimes we also take on lessons for others as well. You can do that as well. So there's lots of different ways that we're working together, but and it's all one big grand play. Right? It's not actor nor director, it's the play. The actor and director, that's the dual, but the play is the non-dual. And I
Okay.
also want to get, oh,
Yeah.
good.
No, no, please keep going.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I have a Zen story of my own, right? So there's the Zen master and his two disciples, right? Um, this Zen master sits in front of his two disciples, with water dripping from a leak in the roof, on the ground in front of him. He asks his students to respond to the leak. What should we do here? He says. One disciple leaves the room and comes back with a pot and places on the leak, and then the master goes over to him, and then strikes his head with a bamboo cane. Wrong, he says. At this time, the other disciple returns from the outside, and with a fallen tree branch and waves it in front of the leak. It's way up high beyond his reach, but he's still waving it there. And then the master smiles. Well, why was the first disciple wrong and the second disciple right? Right? The test was not about solving the problem. The test was about evaluating the student's state of mind. Were they still stuck in a rational, linear thinking state of mind, or were they in a nonlinear, abstract state of mind, which they call a Zen mind, a mind that is in a state of flow, right? From the heart, a state of flow, right? And we talk about this in a state of being. Are you in the heart of being? Right. The goal is to embrace lateral thinking, to remove the chains from the left brain that it imposes on your mind, so you can kind of fly into this unknown sky, right, with infinite possibilities. So because linear or left brain logic is right, like I said, it's not the answer because science and linear thinking requires answers, but the right brain, the lateral thinking requires action, not answers to questions. The right brain encourages holistic being. It tells us that we don't need answers. It tells us that if we simply fall into the heart of being, we will experience something for what it is. The answer won't come in the form of words. It will come in the form of a knowing, right? And this knowing is a feeling.
Hmm.
Um, and feeling cannot be quantified, as we know, right? Feeling cannot be limited or measured. And so, this our experiences teach us that we are looking, what we're looking for is not outside ourselves in an observable, quantifiable way. It's something that we experience within ourselves. It's a feeling, right? So while the left brain seeks to understand but can never truly know, the right brain seeks to feel and thus truly knows without the need to understand. And
I love
so,
it.
yeah.
What is the white ox standing in the field? And then the Zen master whack on the top of the head. You dumb ox. Okay, I'm gonna do a performance here as we are wrapping it up, but I'll put my hand up in Texas. You're in Hawaii. Only our highest love and above part our hearts with angels. Feel what you can feel. Tell me if you've got sparkle, high vibe. What's the words you want to use to describe the vibration?
Divinity.
Oh, and then I'm going to put up those three angels. It's going to be their energy, Joy, Charlotte, and Min. I'm going to whoosh rainbow light three times, small, medium, and large. But if anybody wants to go big the whole time, go home, go big. You're already home, go big. But feel it up your back.
Oh,
Ask
oh,
for,
I got something. Oh, wow.
yeah, ask for
I
what
got
you
this.
need during the
Yeah.
month, the week, the
Yeah.
year.
Oh God. Oh, it's beautiful. This is absolutely beautiful. Oh, they're like placing me in this rainbow ocean-like toroidal sphere. It's just glowing radiantly. So it's
You're winning the prize for 2024 on the best reaction for the rainbow whooshing. Here comes the second one. I'm going to blow through the microphone that's below and catch even more Hawaiian love breeze. Aloha in the air. Here it comes.
oh beautiful. They just fed me a pineapple. I'm like flying through the air and they said, "Here, take a bite of this, take a break,
Oh,
you
this
know.
is pure joy. Okay, last one is big, but let it go quantum on you as well so that you're rippling throughout the month, the year, as long as you want to have extra fun.
Oh, yes. Oh, that's interesting. Wow. They said, well, there was like a rippling of space and time, and it was like a wave as well, and I was walking on the staircase, and then like I said, you're walking forward and backwards at the same time, but don't worry about that. Just keep going. Just keep being yourself because it doesn't matter forwards or backwards. You just need to be who you are. You think you're going forwards, but forwards and backwards are all going in
Oh,
the same direction. So don't worry
eating.
about it.
And now, if you'll leave your eyes shut, one more surprise for you. Here, when you're ready, eyes shut, and then you can, if you've got an outside blue sky, fine through the windows. But if it's the room, that's fine. You can see your soul's colors like an aurora borealis all around you. Feel it come in first. Breathe through the mouth to let go. Let them do the accommodating for you. And when you're ready, either the light in the room or if you can see the blue sky, it's always easier further away. You'll see, what did I say? Aurora borealis across the mountains or whichever way you're
Yeah.
looking outside. But when you're ready, you do get to open your eyes and do it both ways.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I see.
What
Yeah, it's
colors did you get?
blue, green, all sorts. I mean, yeah. First, it was blues and sort of these greens. Then it was more of the yellows, oranges, and just all sorts of a flood of colors.
Well, mahalo, Jacob Nelson in Hawaii. This was a super fun, high vibe show. And thank you to the audience for everyone's just participation, patience, and fun here. You've been wonderful to have on the
Uh,
show, Jacob.
it's been wonderful. I can give a few final words. I would love to share.
Please.
Right. So as we talked about, surrender to reality and to your authentic self. and life will unfold, right? It'll be like magic before you, and this in a grand, unparalleled display of beauty and splendor. So remove your negative beliefs, and then you'll see who you truly are, a divine being, a soul, right? Be a champion of love, compassion, forgiveness, faith, trust. Um, Spread love and inspire others to awaken to their own divinity. I love you all, and may you all awaken to your own truths in your own way and in your own time.
Jacob, thank you. And this is nothing gets bigger than what you said because words do run out of steam at some point. Thank you for being on the show.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure. I love you.